I want to just spend some time here and bring you up to date on some things that are happening on the Hill. Mark Paoletta, Paoletta. He has podcasts that he does. He's a personal friend with Justice Thomas and his wife Jenny. He's a defender of freedom. He's been in the White House. And when he speaks on Capitol Hill, a lot of the individuals listen. Right now, our justices are being attacked for small things that the left would like to. They would like to either shrink the court, or they would like to expand the court. If they can't shrink it, if they were to get in the fall, in the November election, we believe that they would expand the court. So they could do things that they want to do in this nation. He said that the justices are being attacked, and he said this: the things that they are using against them. If you go back in history, it's a big nothing. And so I want to challenge you to follow Mark Paoletta. Write his name down. I also was in meetings, and I heard some welcome news. I heard that the 12 appropriations, our nation, when they come together, usually in the fall, they have to do a CR, which is a continuing resolution to pay for the bills and set up the budget for our nation. It's in 12 appropriations. In 40 years, I believe it's 40 years, they float that around, but it's been a long time since we have had all of our bills in order and been able to just appropriate the money for those. We always have to add money or do an appropriation to do two or three, and we didn't end up till February or March this year finishing the appropriations for last year. Now, the Speaker of the House came out and he said all the appropriations will be passed before the election break, and which hasn't been accomplished in years. And that is welcome news to me, just to see somebody putting some order on Capitol Hill. That's welcome news. There's interesting news on Capitol Hill. You say, what do you mean? As I was meeting with some individuals, I heard that 60% of the House of Representatives is America First, and that that number should go up this fall in the elections. It is being said that our Senate should be turned over to the Republicans this fall if folks vote the way they are, possibly by 5 senators. And then we understand this: there's a crowd of representatives that are running, that are America First, that could really give us a strong House. And so pray for that. It's interesting news. Interesting news in America is that our administration is going after small business. I was listening to this and I'm saying, how in the world can you go after small business? That's the heart of America. Yet they're regulating them. And people say, what in the world are regulations? And this is one of the things that I learned on Capitol Hill years ago that digs me every time I go down there. We have agencies that are creating rules, and they call them regulations. They are not passed in Congress. They are not laws that are voted on. Agencies, bureaucrats are making these rules, and we are getting fined. We're getting put in jail. We are getting things taken away, properties taken away, because of these regulations that were made by bureaucrats but never voted for by Congress. And so they're over-regulating these small businesses, and it's hurting our country. That's one thing we find in the last administration. He did away with a lot of regulations. Before they could put a regulation in, they had to get rid of 2. And so we understand this, that we need to educate ourselves on regulations. Senator Mike Lee has done a fantastic study on that, and you could probably find that on YouTube. Fauci our favorite doctor, came to town this week and and he threw his main people under the bus, and they played literally. They in the committee they played his words back to him, and made him explain those words, and it was without explanation, and so a lot of the things that happened to churches here with the pandemic didn't have to happen. The 6-foot distancing, there's no scientific reason for that. The mask, he said that he just made a suggestion, and then they played him back saying you ought to wear 2 masks. If it was just a lot of the things that happened in the past, they're coming out in committees that they weren't even science or scientific, and he's having to admit that it did come from a lab that American tax dollars went over to fund the study for that. And so we understand we need to get things back to normal, and I thank God for the stand that preachers and men took throughout the pandemic to stand, take a right stand with a right attitude and a right disposition. Attorney General was called on the carpet this week for weaponizing the DOJ against Christians, against people that go to PTA meetings. He was questioned heavily, and one time it almost looked like he was going to cry. I don't know, as he tried to find a response and say that wasn't the case. But we need to pray for our leaders and these agencies, and that God will keep them in order, or that they'll fall in their own pit. There is some good news. There are groups already preparing for the election. On Capitol Hill, there is news that change is coming. And different groups are almost giving up the election, but we understand this. We need to keep on pushing. There are groups already preparing for a new administration. There's a group called the American First Transition Project that they're preparing people to be in the new administration. I sat in a meeting and heard a man that worked in the White House before saying this on day one of this administration. He said, we went in before and we didn't know everything we were going to face, but we've been there for 4 years, and on day one, things are going to change. Positions will be filled, and we'll begin to move to make America just a nation that can be a nation of law and order and can function right. News is coming. News that change is coming is truly here. Now, what does that mean for us? You know, I've been sharing all these different areas, and I tell you, there's so much that is happening. There's bills that are being passed. The House is passing bills, and the Senate has them stacked up, and they won't even look at them. But yet we find bills are being passed, things are happening. What does this mean? November 5th, we need to vote, and I want to challenge us as pastors, as citizens, believer citizens, to come to a place that we vote biblical values, that we come to a place that we vote with the right disposition, we vote for the right issues in this day. I want to challenge every pastor to lead your church members to register. We need to educate our membership on voting and getting registered, and then going to the ballot box and leading their families. And every person possible that is of age needs to go and vote this year. Awake America has materials to help at awakeamerica.org. We have materials that you can literally download and reprint, or we can send you the printed copies of those that will help you in this area of voting. I want to challenge every believer to take their God-given responsibility of voting this year. Take it seriously, and let's get out to the polls, even vote early this year. God bless you.